everyone. Before we begin, I want to let you know that this podcast is for informational and inspirational purposes only. The advice and insights shared here are based on my personal experiences and expertise, but they are not a substitute for professional, medical, psychological, or business advice. If you are dealing with a specific issue, please consult a qualified expert. And thanks for watching. Hi everyone, and welcome to Hope, Healing and Transformation. My name is Lisa Williams and I am the host of your podcast. I am super excited about today's episode. I know nothing about it, but what I would tell you is that we have a reading, and I'm just going to share with you some of the things that was happening before I actually started the reading. Because if you've been following me for some time, you'll know that whenever I start doing a reading, you'll know that everything before I do the reading is not mine. Everything I see, feel, hear, and do is, well, it's not mine. And, you know, I joke around with my producer all the time. We sing songs, and I kept feeling as though music was really important to whoever it is that's coming through. And as I was walking from my kitchen into my office here, where we would do the recording, suddenly I had this guy saying, "What are you waiting for? Come on, come on." And he was very, very impatient. And there was a little bit of impatience about him. So I think we're going to have a little character that's coming through today. Who knows? All of a sudden, I'm very itchy around my tattoos. So whether that is a significance, I'm not sure. But we'll see where it happens. And for those of you who are trying to, who are getting into the mediumship way, I urge you, and again, why am I talking about this? I have no idea, but I'm sure it will all reveal itself. But whenever you're actually starting to work as a mediumship, in mediumship, or whether you're actually starting to connect into mediumship, I want you to be aware that everything that comes through after a certain period of time is really not yours. It is either the spirits, it's either connected through in a very different way. I don't know, it's bizarre. So, just sharing. Not sure why I'm drinking here as well. But whenever I take a sip, I know that there may be some form of possible substance abuse. I don't know, but we'll see where it takes us. All right, so all I know is the woman's name. In fact, there was a joke behind the scenes as well. Well, pay me $10 and I'll tell you her name. All I know is that her name is Britney, and that's all I know. So I'm going to welcome Britney to the show. Hi, Britney.
Hi, Lisa.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm amazing, thank you. I got to share with you, I've got two people that's stepping in. One is younger, one is older. And I turn this way, and it's because my spirits come in on this side of me. And so as I'm connecting in with them, I do have an older lady that's coming through. I feel as though she's like a grandma for you. She's older, right? She feels like she might be on mum's side. She just has that grandma feeling. I've just got to tell you that. The other one is younger, and he's a little bit Jack the Lad. He's a little bit cocky. He's kind of got this like, you know, what's up kind of attitude, you know. And so I've got these two elements. I also have a third one that's coming through, and I'm not sure why I scratched my ear then, but it feels like it's an older gentleman, and I'm not sure if it was a grandfather for you, but the ear was really significant. So whether he often scratched his ear, I don't know, but I'm just going to share that with you. Okay, let me come into, I want to start with your grandmother because I don't think this guy's going to leave. So I feel as though I've just got the support of grandmother here. Now, your grandmother on your mum's side, you remember her, is that right?
Yes.
Okay, she's a wonderful woman. All right, she's showing me that she's been through many times for you, and you often channel her or you often connect in with her. So I don't know whether you study mediumship yourself, but there is this feeling that she often works with you. Does that make any sense to you?
It does. Yes.
All right, and she's actually telling me that you're highly intuitive, and she's giving me this sense that this intuition is something that you need to be working with. So I'm not sure if you actually are a medium yourself or that you're a psychic. Does that make any sense to you?
I am.
Okay, great. Yay. All right. There's nothing worse than reading for another psychic sometimes. Crazy. Anyway, I don't care. It wouldn't be the first time, obviously. But what she's let me know here is that she works a lot with you and that this is something that's followed in the family. She's also letting me know that there are the lineages outside of the family. What does that mean? Okay. That lineage is outside of the family. Outside of the country. Sorry, my brain just went into something completely different. So there may be connections to different parts of the world with your family. So I'm actually being shown over to Europe or somewhere like that because I feel as though there's a lot of European connections for you. Does that make sense?
It does, yes.
Okay, great. And I feel as though it's coming in from ancestral side of things. So possibly, grandmother or before that. But I just keep feeling here that there's a huge amount of ancestry in Europe. I feel as though there may have been a different language at some point as well. Okay. What she's also she's actually a great woman. She's given me this real side, and she's showing me that you were a lot of fun to grow up around, or you were a lot of fun growing up. You're a very inquisitive child. She's showing me that you're always inquisitive, always questioning why. She just said your brother was just, I don't know whether you have a brother, but she's just said your brother was a little bit more laid back. There was a chilled element to him. So do you understand why she gives me the difference between you and a brother?
Yes.
Okay.
It's funny because right before this, I was looking at old photos of us, and I'm like a teacher in all of them. Even as a child, I have like my little sister and brother, and I have my hands on their heads. And I'm like, why am I doing that? Like, why am I acting like a teacher?
That's so funny because she just keeps showing me that you are the one that is like so inquisitive. You're like wanting to find out. And so she just keeps showing me that there's a very significant difference. All right. So I've just got to say with you, I just heard I'm the brother. So is your brother in spirit, please?
He is. Yes.
All right. Because he just said, I'm the brother. Okay. And he's just said your sister's still with us, correct? So your sister is still in the living, which we like her living. We love that.
Yes.
Your grandmother's just handed the baton over to him. And she's just shown me that he is what I call star attraction. He's the person that maybe you wanted to communicate with. You wanted to be here. He was the one that was hurrying me up. I was eating a sandwich and he was like, come on. But what's interesting is I almost feel as though I wasn't even hungry. But I do feel that food was significant for him. Like he was always a foodie. He would just grab and snacks and go. He would always run. It's like he always had a drink in his hand or a snack in his hand. He always literally go in the fridge and go in the fridge and go. Does that make sense to you?
It does. Yes.
Okay. So this was unusual for me because again, just before a reading, I don't like to eat, but it's just something that he made me do. And what was very interesting is I don't drink and I haven't drank in quite some time. But what he was showing, I have non-alcoholic beer because I do actually enjoy still the taste of beer. I just choose not to drink it. But he was showing me this non-alcoholic beer and I feel as though there was a significance about possible alcoholism or some form of substance abuse. Do you understand that?
Yes.
Okay. I don't know where that lies right now, and we'll find out where it lies if it does lie anywhere, but I just want to share that with you. Let me just make sure that grandmother has had her say. Where is the name Barbara?
So I actually do not know Barbara, but my grandmother always brings her through. And I have no idea who Barbara is.
All right. Well, I'll say hello to Barbara. So no idea, but okay. Babs, whoever.
I think it was her friend, and we would kind of like tease my grandmother that she didn't have a lot of friends. So I feel like in spirit, she always brings through her friends.
All right, Barbara, come on in. Anyway, that's so funny. Has other mediums said that to her as well?
Always.
How funny. I just got the name Barbara and I'm like, I don't know where Barbara is. Okay, but let's let Barbara go. All right. Let me come into your grandmother's allowed allowed me, listen to that, allowed me to pass the baton on to your brother. Now, both of your parents are still with us, correct?
Correct.
Because he's recognizing both of your parents, and he wants to say hello to your parents here. And he's also talking about a birthday that's coming up. So is there somebody's birthday that's coming up maybe next month?
I'm already going to cry. And I was like, I'm not going to cry. I'm not going to cry. And already I'm like, my son is turning 10 in May.
Okay, because he just keeps bringing me the fact that it's a significant birthday, and he wants to say happy birthday here. And I feel that is your son into sports for some reason? I don't know whether he's into soccer or whatever, but he just keeps showing me that he's into sports, and that if he was still with us, he would be the one that would be playing the sports with him. And it's really important that I want you to share that with him, okay? He's just told me that you still keep his memory alive. All right. And it's really important. And there's a lot of celebrations. He's also given me December being very significant as well, being a time of year. Again, December's often a time that, and the skeptics out there are like, well, she's just thrown out a month. And of course, the celebrations in December. But he's just shown me that there's often celebrations in December as well. All right, dude, let me just explain. His brain jumps everywhere. Okay. So I want to let you know that I may start down one track, jump to another one, and jump to something else, because his mind just completely jumps, and he was a little bit of a scatterbrain. I do feel that he was, okay, fine. I do feel that he was very intelligent. All right. And I'm just going to say that. First of all, he has absolutely said no one was at fault for this. Do you understand me? Because his passing, no one was at fault. He felt that he was taking responsibility for his own passing, but he is showing me that no one else was at fault. There was circumstances and situations that led up to this. And it wasn't just one circumstance. And he's showing me that he created a lot of arguments. And there may have been an argument at some point with whoever it may have been. But and I don't know whether it was you or another female, but he's shown me that there was an argument. But under no circumstance should this person feel responsible for this situation. Do you understand what I'm talking about?
I do, yes. And okay. It's funny that you said that first, because I was like talking to him before, and I'm like, make sure you cause no harm. Do not blame anyone. Or like say anything before. So it's funny that you started with that.
Okay. It was the first thing that I had to say. You didn't tell my producer that, did you? Or it was just a quiet conversation you had with your brother?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, good. I just want to make sure, for any form of skepticism out there, I just want to make sure. Okay. He said, oh no, I got told what I couldn't. Right. Because what he's showing me, why is my eye all of a sudden itchy? That was really weird. He's letting me know here that, what's a Sunday? He brings me into the day of Sunday. I'm not sure if Sunday is very significant, but he's showing me that Sunday was a difficult day for him. And he keeps talking about, and I've got to say, earlier on, before you jumped on, I got the name Britney, and I wrote down there was a little bit of mental health. So I felt mental health was a real significant thing. I got to share with you, your brother is super proud of you. He's showing me that he was super proud of you. He's showing me that you have also made massive changes and massive strides in your life, and that it's become, you have done some real massive changes here. And he's saying you just let fear get the best of you. And that this fear does come too much for you. He's also given me drugs here as well. And I'm assuming that he was part of the drug situation. Is that right?
Sorry.
I don't want to interrupt you, but I'm going to. Would you understand it may have been both of you?
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Sorry to shut you off. But
oh, no, that's okay.
He literally went, it was both. Okay. And so he is so proud of the fact that, I don't know whether his passing put you into sobriety or you went down that path, but he's showing me how proud he is of you. Does that make sense to you?
Yes.
Okay. Is there anything you want to share on that? Because I feel like bad for cutting you off.
Oh, no. I just am trying to say more than yes and no.
No, you can say whatever you want. I don't care. I don't care. So let's go back to this. He is super apologetic about what happened. Okay. He wants you to know, you've got to know it wasn't him. You understand this? This wasn't him. This was a lot of circumstances. There was a huge amount of issues around his work or money. So I don't know whether there's a lot of situations around his money. He also felt, and this is again, no reflection of any family member, any relationship, any friendship. He'd never felt really good enough. And there was a huge amount of not feeling worthy, not feeling good. And was he in his 20s?
Yes.
Right, because he's showing me that listen, I've got kids in their 20s, and we've all been 20s, but I feel it was that I'm not good enough, I'm not worthy enough, I'm not, and it was all of that. And he kept showing me that he really just there was a split moment, and this was a real split moment. He is letting me know. And again, if it's too much, he's showing me it was somewhat thought out, because this was not the first time that he had thought this through. But what he's showing me is that he couldn't find a way out, because it was thought out and he had thought this. He just wasn't sure if and when he was going to do it. And I have to let you know that. And he said, I don't need to go into any details here. And whether that is, again, the conversation that you had beforehand. But he's showing me that he's already done enough harm and hurt. Does that make sense to you?
It does.
He's just said, my main reason of being here is to help you, is to bring hope to you. And where's the name John? Who is John?
John is my uncle.
Okay. Would John be with him?
Yes.
Okay. Because I just said I felt an energy come in and I was like, who is that? And I heard John. And I feel like, again, I've got John. And would this be on your mom's side of things?
My father's side.
Your father's side. What I'm actually feeling as though is John also didn't help himself either. John didn't look after himself, and John was not always the easiest person to potentially get along with. But I've got to share with you, your brother and he are buddies. All right. There's this kind of buddy feeling here that's coming in. What I'm also being shown here is coins, and I feel like John is handing coins over, and this might be a feeling of seeing coins. But what's interesting is your brother brings me into feathers. And so do you ever see feathers?
I do. I do.
I'm just going to go off camera for a second. You can't see where I'm going. On the chair that he is sitting at, I literally looked over, and I'm going to bring something to you. I have not planted these here. In fact, there's probably that, but here we go. That was literally, well, there's two of them there. Those were literally right by the chair, right on the floor. And I'm like, oh my God. And then I was like, why is he showing? And I was only just talking about feathers a minute ago, but he's just given me these feathers.
I find those all the time, and I try to chalk it up to like, oh, it came from the pillow or it came from the blanket, but it looks exactly like that one.
Well, they might have come from the pillow and the blanket, but I will tell you, I haven't been here in days.
Right.
There was nothing that would have brought I don't have a blanket there. I mean, I wish I could turn my camera around. In fact, I'm going to. I'm just going to turn. I don't know whether you can see this camera, but that was the chair, and they were right on the floor there. It was so
That's
weird.
amazing.
But yeah, so I just kept showing you these. Oh, flipping off. Anyway, he's like, yes. So, I just want to share that is, again, just his way of putting in. Now, he gives me music here. I feel like music is quite important. Now, he brings me into tattoos as well. I'm not sure if someone has a tattoo that's for him, because he keeps showing me that somebody has a tattoo as a sign of remembrance. And he's talking about somebody designing the tattoo. And I feel like this, and I've got to go into this. Has anybody got his face drawn on him?
So, yes.
Okay. I just kept seeing a face of him, and I felt like this face, and it was very artistic, is what I keep seeing. All right. It was super artistic, and he keeps going into that. And I feel as though there's other people that's also got tattoos for him. I don't think that this is uncommon, but I feel like there's significance about the actual drawing of him that I feel so detailed. It's detailed. Who is also an artist? Would that be you? Or is there somebody else who is the artist?
So I just started, when I just started this, and it's the only thing I can think of, but when I do my mediumship sessions, I started painting with watercolor.
It's you. It's you. Because so he was showing me that you are the artist, and this artistry is something that he wants you to follow through, because I feel that the artistry is actually bringing out that creative space within you. It's been a long time coming. You've been needing to do this. You've been wanting to do it. And he's saying, well, who else do you think pushes you through? Who else do you think did this? He shows me like this light green color, like there's a lot of greeny. I don't know why I'm being shown sort of a forest green color. But I feel like, okay. Why are you bringing me into that? Do you live around New Jersey way, Philadelphia,
I
New
do.
Jersey area? Okay. Very weird.
That's so specific.
Yeah, I'm like, where am I seeing right now? And it was only because I was there the other weekend, but I was like, I feel like I'm near where my in-laws live, which is kind of on the edge of Philadelphia, sort of like going into New Jersey-ish. And he keeps showing me him being around. I don't know whether that's where he lived as well, but he kept showing me that's where he knew the area as well. He also keeps putting me in a vehicle, and I want to drive really fast. So I feel like he could be a little bit of a loose cannon in a vehicle, if I can say that, is what he's showing me. He takes me into his bedroom as well. So I'm not sure if I feel as though his bedroom is significant, and maybe I don't even want to go there, because I feel as though there's a significance about how things ended for him. All right. And I just feel as though, because he gives me a hard stop on the bedroom. Okay. So was he in the bedroom when this all happened?
He wasn't.
Okay. Do you understand a lot of the questions and a lot of the thoughts and a lot of his mental health stuff in his bedroom? Because I feel like I am locked in my bedroom.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
I feel like, yeah, I feel like I have my darker thoughts in my bedroom. That's what I'm being shown. And he's showing me that either there's some form of writing or some form of drawing or something that really got you into the way that his mind worked. Okay. He also always felt that he was not going to be here for long. And I feel that that was also something that he knew about. Did he leave a note by any chance?
No.
Okay. I want you to know he thought about it. because something about this, it's like he wants people to know his inner workings of his mind. And I feel that not everybody, okay, thank you. He said there is a lot of people have been questioning whose fault it was, but he's telling me there was nobody's fault. All right. And I have to share that with you.
Thank you.
He had a girlfriend, is that right?
Yes.
That relationship wasn't always easy. And what he's showing me is that he felt to blame, but he's showing me it was like 6 of one, half a dozen of the other. You know, we all have these younger relationships. And he's showing me that she has really been struggling with his passing. She churns it over in her head. Are you still in friendship with her?
I am.
Okay, because he kept showing me that you'd be able to pass a message on.
Okay.
Can you please let her know that this was not a result of her either?
Yes.
Okay. It's really important that I share that with you. And he's saying it's really important no matter what, because there was a lot. He's just said we were young. We were young, and she's met somebody else, or she's moved on right now, and he's really happy for her. So he wants you to know that. Did he not meet your son or your children?
He did meet all my children.
Who did he not meet? Is there another child that has come into the world that he has not met, or is coming into the world that he has not met?
I believe my sister is wanting to start having children, and it's upsetting to her that he's not there to meet her children.
Okay. He's letting me know that he's meeting them and he's bringing them to her. Okay. And I feel that in the next 2 years, you'll find that in fact, I want to go sooner than that. I feel as though within the next year, you might find that she's actually pregnant. Okay.
Thank you.
And it's an important thing. Do you have problems with your voice or your throat?
Yes.
Okay. And also your breathing going into the throat. I don't know whether you get heavy on your chest, but it's like I feel as though my vocal areas are really struggling right now.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Let me just backtrack. So, like I said, he's jumping me everywhere, and I don't like anyone to jump me. I kind of need to have some semblance with my way that things work. Can I ask what's his name?
Cameron.
He's just said, on the night it happened, so I don't know whether it was a night that it happened. He said, on the night that it happened, he said, I felt really peaceful about it. I felt there was peace. He said, and I felt it was just right. He said, it's hard to explain. These are all the things I wished I'd have been able to explain to you if he'd have had the chance. And he's just said, there was this overwhelming sense of peace. It wasn't like it was snap. It was like, I know what I need. And this was never about anybody else. This was actually all about him. And he did struggle with some form of mental health. And he said, I wish that I could share this with enough people. His message, okay, thank you. He's actually really pleased that you decided to do this, because he's showing me that people need to understand that. Okay, I wish I had a plug in my head that you could actually hear him. He said, people think it's very selfish what we do. And I'm assuming he was completely responsible for his passing, because that's the way he's leading me. Mm-hmm. But he's just said, people think that we are selfish, but we're not. We're actually thinking about other people. We're thinking about carrying other people and the pressure that it is, and the way that there is no hope, and we can't bring this on other people. And sometimes we can't find a way out. Are you okay if I go into your body, because something's cropping up for me?
Okay.
All right. And tell me if you don't want me to go there. Do you ever have a problem with the throat or the sore throat?
I do.
Okay. The throat for you is really, I don't want to say blocked, because then we're going to have all people going, oh, you can't say that. All right. It feels tight. I don't know whether you have nodules or thyroid. I'm certainly not a medical expert. I'm certainly not going to diagnose. But I feel that since your brother's passing and since you've been connecting in with spirit, this has been tighter for you. And I'm also going to say that I feel difficult with my stomach too. I feel very, very difficult in my intestine and my digestive system. That feels a very, very weaker space for you. Does that make sense?
It does.
And I'm feeling like there is a correlation. A lot of it feels like it's related to grief. Just to give you understanding of what's happening for me, just so you can recognize it for your own mediumship. As I do this here with my throat, immediately I went into some form of sobriety. So have you been sober for some time?
Yes.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
It's such a great feeling, isn't it, when you're like...
It is.
So I want to come in here. Whenever I talk about my throat, it immediately takes me to sobriety. And I feel as though there's been some connection here with the sobriety in your throat here. So let me just ask you, when we talk about the throat, did this happen just before you decided to get sober, or was it just afterwards?
Just afterwards, I found out that I had thyroid cancer.
Gotcha.
So I had to have my thyroid removed.
Okay. And let's look at the correlation of when your brother passed. Did your brother pass after that? Actually, before that?
It was really around the same time. Like, I had to do the radioactive iodine, and I had to push that because he had just passed.
Okay. What he was showing, because he showed me, I went after and he went before. So I was like, okay. What he was showing me is this throat cancer, all right, is very much about you not speaking your truth. And I feel like what you've actually done is because it felt like there was a nodule on my thyroid. That's what it felt like. And what it also feels like is that it's lack of speaking the truth and lack of being in integrity. And when I say you're not integrity, you're not. It's not the fact that you're not in integrity. It's where you were in your life. And he talks about 7 years prior. So I don't know whether this was 7 years ago, roughly, but he gives me 7 being significant. Is that right?
Close, yeah.
Okay. Do you have any questions for him or anything you have for me?
I'm trying to find my voice because I want to use his story to help people, like heal their grief through mediumship.
Right.
And I want to find my voice in that. So I guess if you have any tips for
sure.
that.
Well, so the fact that I was bringing this up, write the book and all of that. So I feel, right, so let me look. Great. He said, my story is great. My story is great, but actually it's your story. It can never be about my story. He said, because you didn't live me, you lived you. And he's saying that this is now about you. He said, you can intertwine him by all means, but this is about you stepping in. And he's just said it can't just always be about this is how you got into it. You've got to empower people to start listening to that intuition and start recognizing the signs. He's saying you've got to empower people to really step in and say, this is what you need to be looking for. He's saying these signs from heaven, these signs from spirit, these feathers, these whatever he gives you. He said, it's my little hello. It's my little hello. It's my little drop in. He's saying you need to empower people now to find their own way. He said, and that's where you'll find the voice. And he's saying you also need to bring people in who are much younger. He said the old people have resources. Bless him. The older ones. Thanks, dude. He told it as it is. The older people have the resources. He's saying, but the younger people who are more in the 20s don't have the resources. They don't have the ability. They don't have that. And he's saying, and you've got to target that audience. He said, and that's where you're really going to be key. He said, don't date it. Don't date the mediumship, meaning don't make it old. So that makes sense. I know what he means by that, because mediumship is a very old thing. You know, it's going around for years, but it's very set in its ways. But he's saying, don't doubt it. Aim it for a younger audience.
Lisa and Brittany, excuse me for interrupting. I just want to ask one question. Is Cameron still available?
Sure.
I want to go back to the feather, that you discovered a feather, Brittany's discovered a feather, and her daughter's discovered a feather. I'm curious, can you ask Cameron, how does he manifest these feathers?
He's just gone, He's like, well, I float them down from heaven. What do you expect? So this is interesting. How do you find the feathers? He said, I make you aware of them. It's almost like, he said, I know that they're there, but I make you aware. I push you to look at them. I make you aware of them. He said, I haven't worked out the magic of how I get the feather there, but they appear.
All right, thanks. I was just curious. You can go on without me.
He's just said, Ray, he just said he likes you. Because actually what's funny is he was also quite skeptical. So your brother was quite skeptical in this area.
I like your brother. He's a good man.
He's super skeptical.
Very skeptical about this. And Ray is not a skeptic, but I like that. Your brother's just done this cheesy grin, like big cheesy grin. So I don't know whether he loved his cheesy grin, but that's what he's showing me here. Such a great guy. He misses Mum's cooking.
Oh.
He misses Mum's cooking. Mum has a certain thing that she loved to cook. Is there a certain pasta dish or something that she loved to cook?
Yes, and she actually bought it over for me today.
Because he's just said he misses her cooking. He's just blown a big kiss at you and he's just said, I love you. And he's like, he said, just go out and do it. He said, stop holding yourself back. Stop holding yourself back. So amazing. Oh my God. Thank you for letting me do that.
Thank you, Lisa.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Awesome.
For me as a medium, I love doing these readings, and irrespective of what took people onto the other side, it's the fact that they want to come back and say hello. It's the fact that they want to come back and say, I'm sorry, or share a funny story, or bring through the feathers. This is the most important thing, is that they're still showing the signs that they are there. You know, I think sometimes whenever we're doing a reading, we don't need to know the full detail. We don't need to know why they did it, how they did it, what happened, because the person on the other side doesn't need to know that. What that does is it brings up a huge amount of trauma as well. And sometimes that just satisfies the medium's ego. And it's not for us to be the judge of what needs to come through. So if you are a budding medium or a psychic and you're wanting tips, then just listen to the Spirit. The Spirit's always going to guide you in the right way. And so my name is Lisa Williams. Thank you so much for joining us on Hope, Healing and Transformation. And remember, you can talk to your own loved ones. You don't need me. We obviously act as a conduit, but listen and trust and look for the signs. Until next time, enjoy and speak to your loved ones. They are absolutely there for you. Thank you so much for joining me today. And remember, the information shared on this podcast is meant to inspire and support you, but it's not a replacement for personalized advice from a qualified professional. If you enjoyed this episode, please share it with someone who might benefit. And don't forget to tune in next time. Until then, take care and keep believing in something better.